Hey guys, so this is lesson 76 for Saxon Math. We're going to work on the lesson practice. Before you do that though, you need to make sure that you have read 484 through 486 first. All right, make sure you read that before you come in here and work on the lesson practice with Mr. Bruce. All right, so we're going to start today by reviewing the steps that we go through to solve a division problem. And if you look over here on the right side of the screen, you'll see that on every page, every problem today, we have this little guide here that reminds you. So we start by dividing, then we multiply, then we subtract, then we bring down, and then we repeat. So that's what the arrows are showing you what to do, okay? So make sure that you follow those steps when we go through our division problems. The problems we're working on today have 3-digit answers. And I think I messed these up a little bit. We started with A. So the A was this over here. And you're going to write down, you start by dividing, then you multiply, then you subtract, and then you bring down. That was question A. So my tabs up here are a little off. But we're going to go ahead and go to B. All right. So B has the problem 974 divided by 4. I'm going to go ahead and mute my speaker here on my other computer so we aren't interrupted by people texting me. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and change the color here so we don't get too confused, is we're going to divide, because that's what this over here says to do. So we're going to divide. So we need to divide 9 by 4. 974 is our dividend, 4 is our divisor. So we're going to divide 9 by 4. And I'm going to ask myself, how many times can I fit 4 into 9 without going over? Well, I can start with 4 times 1. 4 times 1 is 4. Now, that's not very close. I can do 4 times 2. That is 8. That's getting close. Let's try 4 times 3. Nope, that's too much. That's 12. So we're going to go with this one. This is the good one. 4 times 2 is 8. So we've already got the 4 here, so we're going to go ahead and put the 2 up above. So 2 times 4 is 8. And that's where we moved on to this step, because it said multiply. So 2 times 4 is 8. Then it says to subtract. So I need to subtract 8 from 9. So 9 minus 8 is 1. And then it says we need to bring down. So let's see, we got to pick another color here. Let's go with purple. So we're going to bring down our 7 because that's this step here. And we're going to put it right there. So now we have a new division problem. We have 17 divided by 4. And then we repeat this process. So I'm going to go back to my pink. Okay. So 4 goes into 17. Well, I know that 4 times 4 is 16, and I know that 4 times 5 is 20. So that's too much. So I'm going to go with the 4 times 4 is 16. So we got 4 times 4 is 16. And we subtract, and we have a 1. All right, we're going through these steps over here. Remember that. Okay, and then we did the subtraction, so now we need to bring down. And we've got 4 there, so 4 goes here. And then we're going to ask ourselves, how many times does 4 go into 14? Well, 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. 16 is too big, so I'm going to go with the 3. 4 times 3 is 12. And we subtract, and we're left with 2. Now, there's no more numbers to bring down. And this number is less than my divisor over here. So this is going to be my remainder. So I'm going to write remainder 2. And we need to always make sure that we circle our answers. Okay, so our answer was 243, remainder 2 for B. If you don't understand that, you can rewind it and go through it again. We're going to go to C now. I'm going to go back to my favorite color, C. And C is $7.95 divided by 5. So this is what they have in the book. It looks like this: $7.95 divided by 3. So I'm going to set this up here with the decimal in there. And we're going to put our 3 over here. So this is our dividend, $7.95, and our divisor is 3. And I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal here. Oops, I do not know what just happened there. So I'm going to try that again. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to divide. It says right here, divide. So 3 goes into 7 how many times? Well, 2 times 3 is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. That's too much. So we're going to go with 2. 2 times 3 is 6. We just did our multiplication. And then we need to subtract. That's right here. 7 minus 6 is 1. And then it says to bring down. So we're going to bring down this 9. Remember, we got this decimal here. Do you want to make sure that you put the numbers lined up correctly, or it's going to mess up your question? So make sure you do that. So 3 goes into 19 how many times? Well, 3 times 6 is 18, and 3 times 7 is 21, and that's too big. So we're going to go with 6. So we're back here. We just did the division. Now we're going to multiply. 6 times 3 is 18. That's this step here. And then I'm going to subtract. 19 minus 18 is 1. That's this step here. And then we're going to bring down. So we got to bring down this 5. All right, and 3 goes into 15. So we're going back up to the division. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. So yes, 5. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. Then we're going to multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. Then we're going to subtract. And that leaves us with 0. Do I have any more numbers to bring down? No. So we're done. All right. This was a money problem, as you guys can see right here. So we need to make sure that we add a $sign for our answer, and we circle it. All right. Moving on to D. D was 1,000. Show you how it looks in the book. Oh, they have it all set up for us already in the book, so that's nice. So it's got 1,512 divided by 6. Okay, so we're going to start by dividing. That's the first step. Okay, so 6 goes into 15 2 times. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 would be 18, and that's too big. We can't divide 6 into 1, so that's why we're using 15. So we've got 2 times 6 is 12. Then that was that multiplying. We just did it there. And then we need to subtract. 15 minus 12 is 3. That's that step there. Then we need to bring down this 1, which we just did right there. And then we're going to circle back to the top. So 31 divided by 6. Well, 6 times 5 is 30, and 6 times 6 is 36. So I'm going to go with 5, because 36 is too big. 5 times 6, oh, we just did our division. Now we're going to do 5 times 6 is 30. That was our multiplication. Then we're going to subtract 31 minus 30. That leaves us with 1. That was our subtraction. And then we need to bring down this 2 here, which gives us 12. There's the bring down. All right. And then we're going to circle back to the top. We have 6 goes into 12 how many times? Well, that's pretty simple. We know that 2 times 6 is 12. So that's right on. 2 times 6 is 12. Oh, we did the division. Then we just did the multiplication. Now we're going to subtract. That's the step. Now leaves us with 0, and we don't have anything else to bring down. And this one here is not money or anything, and it's not a word problem, so we're just going to circle our answer and move on. Okay, E is a money problem. E is $50 divided by 8, and they have it set up like this. $50 divided by 8. Okay. So we can ignore the money sign right now. We just need to make sure that we have it in our answer. So I'm going to go ahead and add it there. And I'm going to go ahead and add this decimal there too. Oops. Oh, it keeps going. It doesn't like me doing the circles. Okay, we'll just do it like that. Okay. So 8 won't go into 5. 5's too small. We're doing the division step right now. So 8 times 6 is 48. That's pretty close to 50. 8 times 7 is 56. That's too much. So we're going to go ahead and do a 6. 6 times 8 is 48. That's our multiplication step. Then it wants us to subtract. That leaves us with 2. That was our subtraction step. And then we need to bring down this 0 here, which is our bring down step. And we have a new problem. 8 goes into 20. Make sure you put your new number after this decimal. We want to keep these decimals lined up. 8 times 2 is 16, and 8 times 3 is 24. 24 is too big, so we're going to go with the 2. 2 times 8 is, oh, that was our division. And then we're going to do our multiplying. 2 times 8 is 16. Then we're going to subtract. 20 minus 16 is 4. And then we're going to bring down this last 0. And conveniently, we've got a number that can be divided by 8 evenly. 40 divided by 8. So what times 8 is 40? I know that it's 5. So we just did our division step. Then we're going to multiply. 5 times 8 is 40. That's our multiplication step. And then we're going to subtract. 40 minus 40 is 0. That was our subtraction step. There's no more numbers to bring down, so we are done with the bring down. This is a money problem. We put that up at the beginning. We left our decimal in the right place, so we know that 50 divided by 8 is $6.25. We're going to circle our answer. All right, we have one more to share, and it is F. It's a word problem. All right, so it says altogether 878 people. I like to keep track of my numbers. 878 people attended 3 showings of a movie on Thursday. There were 3 showings. About the same number of people attended each showing. It says about here, so we got to be careful there. It might not be an exact answer. What is a reasonable estimate of the attendance at each showing? And it says explain your answer. All right, so they want us to estimate. Well, I'm going to round to make this easy. So I know the 878 rounded to the nearest 100. So 878 rounded to the nearest 100 is 900. Well, we're going to be breaking that into 3 different movies. So when we break something up, we make a division problem. So you've got 900 broken into 3 showings or 3 different movies. Well, 900 divided by 3 is pretty simple problem, I think. So we've got, we're going to use our steps over here. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. Then we're going to multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. Then we're going to subtract. 9 minus 9 is 0. And then we're going to bring down this 0. All right, so we did that. Now we have a new problem. 0 divided by 3. Well, that's going to be nothing. So we're going to put 0 here. 0 times 3 is 0. That was our multiplication step. And then we're going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. And then we're going to bring down. And we have another 0 here. And then we have one more problem. 0 divided by 3 is still 0. 0 times, that's this part. 0 times 3 is 0. Then we need to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. And there's nothing else to bring down, so we're done. Okay. Now it says, what is a reasonable estimate of the attendance at each showing? Well, I think, what's attending here? I think it's people, so we need to make sure we label this. So we're going to write about, because it's an estimate, 300 people. And we're going to circle our answer, all right? It says explain your answer. So I think that we could probably do that by saying I'm going to see if I can go ahead and put some text over here. So I'm going to explain. And let's go home. Let's go ahead and make this an interesting font that you guys can see. All right. I rounded 878 to 900. I divided 900 by 3. My answer was about 300 people. I think that pretty much explains what we did. I think another good answer might be less than 300 people because we've definitely rounded up. So I could change this to less than 300 people. And I'm going to go ahead and change this one over here too because I just think it's a slightly better answer. So I'm going to change that to, oops, I need my pen. Make sure I got the right color here, right size. Okay, so I'm going to write less. Oops, I don't like that. I should have put less than. We're going to write less than 300 people. And there you go. That's the end of lesson 76.